Hi folks, it's Andy. Welcome to another episode of Kendo Video Feedback. Okay, so here we are for another episode of Kendo Video Feedback. It's been a couple of weeks since I've done one of these shows for you. Basically what we do is we take some footage that one of you wonderful channel viewers has sent in to us. We watch it together. I give you a little bit of feedback and hopefully everybody learns something. So we've got a video to look at today. I'll get to it in a minute, but before we do, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. You know the YouTube magic. We're aiming for over 6,500 people having started Kendo, probably because of the YouTube robots suggesting Kendo to them based on the activities that we've been doing, such as writing a comment down below using the word Kendo, and you can help grow the Kendo population. What happens is YouTube, the robots are out there spying on everybody. It's like the Terminator. They're walking around, but nobody knows. And they're looking for somebody that's about to start Kendo, and then they make sure that YouTube suggests Kendo videos to them. But what you have to do, you have to go and write in the comments what a great Kendo video, words to that effect, and help grow the Kendo population. As I said, we've already had over 6,000 people or something like that start Kendo, probably because of this. So what we'll do is we'll try and get that to 6,500, even 7,000 more or more, maybe even 1 million, whatever, we'll see. Okay, so before we jump in, there's something even more important we have to talk about. You know what it is? Shop at KendoStar.com, the best Kendo equipment retailer in the history of the universe. You know it's true. Of course I would say it because I own the place, but everyone agrees with me. We're the highest rated, we're the best, all right? You get the best stuff, best service. Don't buy twice, all right? I know there's all these imitators springing up left, right, and centre. Don't waste your time and money there. You'll end up coming to us in the end. So just skip it. Don't buy twice. Buy right first time and come to KendoStar.com, okay? There's a reason we're the market leaders, all right? So what have we got here? We have got a video. It says, good evening, Fish Sensei. At the beginning of the month, you successfully challenged the Nidan exam. Fantastic. Congratulations. That's awesome news. First of all, thank you for your contribution to Kendo community. No, thank you very much. Thank you for supporting. And the reviews from other practitioners have been a great inspiration and key factor in your ongoing process. Good. That's what it's for. Really it is. So here's a video of one of your Jigeko that you took place the day before your Nidan Shinsa, and you'd like me to have a look. You're the guy on the right with the lighter blue Kendogi. You didn't take the exam. Never fear, I did not take the exam wearing this old outfit. I'll place a new order for the weekend for a new Hakuman Kendogi to celebrate the past. Great, no problem. So you sent me this like about a week ago, so you've probably got that now if you did order it. For your reference, Jigeko is Ippon Shobu, 51 years old, 192 centimeters tall, and you believe the other Kendoko was a couple of dan above you. Apologies for the background commentary from a couple of members of the dojo. And then it says, could you also give me any tips to work on for Sandan? Yeah, so let's have a look. So let's see. You're this one on the right hand side. Let's get cracking. Good Sonkyo. Very good Sonkyo. Good Negi. That's how we like to start. Okay. Yeah. So here's what I'm going to say. First off, is right. This isn't like something for Sandan. This is just in general, right? I like the fact that you went to do sort of pressure like semi, but it's a little bit too obvious and contrived. You see how you sort of go there like that, where it goes like this? Like, it can work, but you haven't, like, at this point where you're at, you haven't built up the sort of pressure. I hesitate to use that word because it's overused, but you haven't built it up enough for it to kind of go off on you just doing that. Do you know what I'm saying? So it needs to be a little bit more subtle at this stage, your sort of entry. And for that reason, instead, what's happened is he knows that you're coming to hit. So you can easily block. Now, what you need to be really careful of here is after you strike, great. Okay, well controlled. But I want you to retain control of your kendo footwork and don't resort to walking like this if you can help it. Try to keep that left foot off the floor as much as possible. All right? Good kamae. Probably do with your right wrist is turned a little bit too much this way. I'd probably turn it a little bit more inwards if I were you. So there we have it again, yeah. It's a little bit, this is a little bit, just see, just before you attack, you sort of go like this with the shinai, sort of poke it out in front. And it's just a little bit there. It's a little bit obvious that you're about to hit men, okay? So probably a little bit too much tension in your arms as well. And what I want to try and reduce is, this part's not so bad, but we talked about having like an S-shaped kamae. I've not seen your kamae from the side on too much yet, but after here, you see how here you've made this complete S shape like this. You want to avoid this shape as much as possible. Now it's hard, I get it, because you're quite a lot taller than your opponent, but you don't want to be sort of like this. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay. Hips back. Okay, not bad. Okay, so I tell you what I am seeing here is your left hand's too high in relation to your right hand. You see how they're almost flat like this, like this, when it wants to be more like that. So your left hand wants to be a bit lower, to be honest. In your standard kamae position, your left hand wants to be a little bit lower, and you'll get more efficiency out of it. Okay, and then here. You've had a go at doing Nidan Waza, which is fine, but your Fumikiri on the second one isn't quite there, so you don't quite pull off a proper Fumikomi. So that's worth sort of considering. If you're going to do your Sandan, that's the sort of thing that might get pulled up, because it's kind of lack of Kentai no Ichi. If you do a Nidan Waza, you need to make sure that you're properly launching and doing a proper Fumikomi on both strikes. But good. But yeah, I can see this sort of S-shaped kamae slightly now, right? So I want you to push your hips back just a couple of inches in your kamae and lower your left hand, and your left heel's a bit too high too, okay? And these sort of things, you see that this sort of awkward attempt at the strike here where you couldn't quite do the Fumikomi, because your kamae isn't quite tapped in yet, you're not able to strike with a unified sword and body like instantly. So when you have to immediately strike, because your kamae is sort of lacking slightly, it kind of all gets out of sync, like what's happened here. Whereas some of the other strikes, when you're making them from a more sort of what can I say, like a calmer mindset, where you've got sort of chance, and in a way it's part, I think it's probably connected to this sort of thing that you do with the shinai first, that little bit of preparation. When you've got the chance to do that, you manage to make a better strike. But it kind of goes back to highlighting slightly, probably a slight deficiency in your kamae, if that makes sense. Yeah. I'd say your left heel's a little bit too high, so. And that's adding to it. Left heel down, hips back. Okay, so tip on the kote strike. This is a good attempt at the strike. Very, very good. But then afterwards, this sort of happens. Okay? And this isn't what we want to do after hitting kote. Alright? We want to keep the shinai forward. We don't want to kind of go into defensive mode. Pam! Kote. Close down, forward on. Right, which you did do, but you sort of went hit and sort of back into this sort of defensive posture. Okay, good. So I think the key thing here, right, is if you fix these issues with the kamae and cut your menhimo as well. Your menhimo too long. All right, it's 40 centimeters. It's got to be within 40 centimeters. But I can see here, you see here when you turn around, I can see that the weight distribution in your kamae itself, right, it's sort of backwards. So there's the only, you know, you aren't going to be able to launch an effective strike from this position. Okay. Push those hips back. Let's get into a triangular shaped, A-shaped kamae rather than this S-shaped kamae like this. All right, and you'll see a massive improvement in your technique. I'm sure of it. Try to avoid this position as well. All right, when you get to Tsubazeri, try to avoid this position where your hands are flat against your body. All right, it's a mistake a lot of people make or find themselves in, but you do not want to have your hands next to your body like this. You need to keep some space between your hands and your body like you do when you're having chudan as much as possible in Tsubazeri. It's impossible to make any sort of hikiwaza. It's difficult to defend yourself from this point, from this position. Okay, have to keep. Okay, so this is a, I mean this was a pretty good men's Suriage men, to be honest. In most cases this would probably be considered ippon. Okay, so and let's see what. So partly here, sorry, I've gone a bit too far back, but partly here, there's quite a lot of time for him to defend and then return with the strike, which is a really, really nice men's Suriage men, to be honest. But you know, sometimes this happens. So lucky you, you got away with that one. Okay, so key point here, all right? Key point here. Once you start to separate from Tsubazeri, at this point here, once you start to separate, you have to both separate to Toma. You can't, this here, right, is a problem, okay? So this has to separate to Toma. You can't not separate to Toma like this, far distance. It's not entirely your fault. He should have separated more too. It's a little bit of a complicated one. Good. I think you're handling the Shiai very well overall, you know. But here's where you got to be super careful. All right, I was just about to say, don't block and leave your feet still. Okay, here you see where your feet sort of plant and you just block with your hands, or you might receive a follow-up strike, and that's kind of what happened. So, you know, if you have the block, try to deal with the distance as well, right? So close it down and step back. I want you to avoid this left hand being too high like this, yeah? Okay, so again, as I said, same thing as before, blocking just with your hands, not with your feet, yeah, will lead to a strike, okay? Now, I'll be honest with you, this isn't the best men's strike in the world. It's Suriage men was better, but it is what it is. It's easy to say that on video after the fact, right? So, the key points I want you to work on, okay? Key points I want you to work on. Fix this kamae. I think if we fix this kamae, your kendo's gonna sort of really level up all at once. All right, so try not to have this S shape, but we're trying to make an A shape. All right, so hips need to come back a little bit, okay, and a little bit, and the heel, left heel lower. All right, your left heel's too high. It wants to be a bit lower. Okay. And I think what you'll find then is you'll get much more effective fumikiri, that's launching from the left foot, better fumikomi, and you'll be able to make strikes, bam, instantly when you want to, rather than having to prepare first. Okay. I don't think I think with 2 years of work, you should be fine for Sandan. All right. Especially if you can work on that. I don't think you'll have any problem whatsoever. Congratulations once again on your Nidan. Good job in the Shiai. I think you fought the Shiai very well. It's not easy. I get that, but you're doing Kendo, right? You're doing Kendo. That's what's important. And I don't say that in a sort of like funny way. I mean, it's not as easy as it sounds. Yeah, what you're doing looks like Kendo, so it's all good. Yeah, you're on the right track. Yeah, but I really want you to just work on those things that we talked about, and I don't think you'll have any problem at all going forward. So thank you very much for sending the video in. Thank you everybody else for joining me today. If you would like me to feature your video on this series, all you need to do is upload it to YouTube, mark it as unlisted. Okay, mark it as unlisted or public. Don't mark it as private, and I won't be able to see it then. And then send the link to me at mail@kendostar.com and give me a little bit of background information. Let me know which one of you I'm looking at and stuff like that, and I'll happily look at it. Okay, make sure you've got the permission of the relevant people too. And that's it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, shop at Kendo Star, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.